to get back to, but I felt pretty good. Again, I think we played a very good game today, so it's just nice to start with a win, and hopefully we can just get something going here.
Chris Chapman, Fox Sports Las Vegas. When you don't play for a couple of weeks, what's the most difficult thing or what's the hardest thing to get back?
Not being around the team. I mean, you're there doing rehab, stuff like that, but you want to be a part of the games and all that stuff, so.
All right, good to see Robin Lehner back. They get the win yesterday against the Sharks. Only faces 17 shots, but solid defense in front of them. They get back on the winning track, as he said. And then there's the other question with Robin Lehner, and this is one that you and I discussed yesterday, and I think it's really important. There are reports out there that he may have a serious injury, and it really hasn't been addressed. That's what hockey does. It's really what all sports do. You keep that stuff under wraps. And at the press conference, the report is torn labrum. At the press conference, Willie stands up, and he's like, well, let's get to this.
Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. Robin, you're obviously cleared, so when you get out there in the adrenaline, you're going to feel good. But after the game and tomorrow, are there different protocols now to make sure that you sort of take care of different rehab or next day recovery, active release? Is there anything specific that you have to do from this point forward to make sure that you stay fresh?
It's a better question for Frank Saravelli, my doctor.
Go to Joe.
Robin, after a three-week layoff, do you prefer a game with?
Wait, what? So I understand Lehner making a joke about it. Was there a follow-up?
There should have been, because his answer to Chris, he said, getting back with the guys, you go through rehab. So right there, he said that he had to go through rehab. Later on, he said, obviously, Dr. Saravelli was wrong in his assessment. So here's the problem that I have with the entire situation. And I get it, he made a joke. He wasn't attacking me. He was attacking Frank Saravelli via my question. But I have a job to do, and it's a legitimate question. I didn't question what his injury was. He already said that he had to rehab. And now I'm just asking that after playing in real-time action, is there any added sort of therapy you have to go through? Fascial stretch therapy, cupping, whatever it may be. You know what he didn't think of, Steve? That I thought he was supposed to be empathetic toward? And I'm not trying to play the victim here and saying that I was affected, but isn't he a mental health advocate? Didn't he take a snipe at a reporter and then cause an entire room of media to laugh at that reporter's question? Could that not have caused? Isn't the phrase with mental health, hey, you don't know what somebody's going through? Couldn't he even just ask the question and say, hey, I'd rather not address that instead of being snarky or have an entire room laugh at a reporter? I don't know. Just a thought. Now, again, I am not sitting here claiming victim and saying that I have spent the day depressed or it knocked me down mentally or I couldn't perform my job and go right on deadline. All I'm saying is that here's a guy who's out there voicing and being a mental health advocate. Here's a guy who I remember when press conferences when Marc-Andre Fleury came in with whoever the PR person was that was directing the media conferences. You never know who's going to be at the podium. But why is Robin Lehner always by himself? Why is he center stage? Why is he always stealing the show? Why is he being snarky? Nobody's attacking him. We're asking questions. That's something that sort of weighed on my mind is like, and then later when Dave Shane followed up and said, well, Robin, there is a report out there. So Dave Shane did do the follow. And he said, there is a report out there. And that's when he followed up. He said, well, obviously Dr. Saravelli was wrong on my. Well, no, maybe not, because the report said the upper body injury Robin Lehner is dealing with, sources say, is a torn labrum in his shoulder that will eventually require surgery. Eventually. Who's to say that someone didn't jab a needle in him and maybe they numbed it up? I know that I got to get a cortisone shot in my right knee in 2 weeks. We don't know what he just went through to be able to get better. We don't know. If it's not, and you know what? Instead of attacking Saravelli and getting laughs at the expense of two reporters asking legitimate questions trying to do their job, then just come out and say, no, my shoulder's fine. I don't have a torn labrum. But he's never denied it. That's more what weighed on my mind today. Mental health advocate Robin Lehner getting a room full of laughs at two reporters.
Well, but this is the secretive nature of many sports, but especially the NHL. This is the way they want to operate. So I guess they've told Robin Lehner to not go into detail about it. Lehner, by that, suggested, I would wean from that answer that there's really no injury.
Nope, I don't buy that. You know why? Because Robin Lehner has come into press conferences where he's just come in for a 2-3 minute, and he's sat there for 11 minutes and went off on his own, touching on subjects that when he attacked the NHL. Robin Lehner has controlled press conferences on his own accord, and answered questions how he wanted to, and addressed the media, who I'm sure George McPhee and Kelly McCrimmon were cringing at the subject. So don't tell me that Robin Lehner has been told what to say. Since he's arrived, hasn't he been the most entertaining press conference when he decides to go off? Okay, so you're not going to tell me that they said, well, don't go in and say anything about Robin Lehner's going to go. He's even said, I wasn't going to address this, but I feel like I need, and he's come out and spoken. So regardless of how you want to address, if he doesn't want to address it, then say, and he did at one point, he did say to Dave Shane, I'm not going to discuss my injury. But then again, he followed it up with Dr. Saravelli and getting laughter from a room full of media members. And those media members, they're going to remember. It's just like I don't have a problem being tagged in on Twitter. Some guys quoted him and didn't say. Two reporters did say, Willie Ramirez asked this question and so on and so on, which is fine. That I don't care. That part doesn't bother. Nobody's attacking me. Everybody's attacking Frank Saravelli on Twitter.